what it takes to get a perfect score. We've done this before. Can you do it this time? 20 questions getting harder after every single one. All about football. Are you ready to prove that you're a true fan? Let's get ready. Question 1 starts now. Welcome back everybody to another Can You Answer These Football Questions video. There are going to be 20 questions. If you can get over 16, I'm going to say that you're a true expert. So that's your goal for today. As always, there will be hints every once in a while. And if you accept the hint and answer after the hint, you'll get half the points for that question. Alright, here we go. Question number 1. Which country won the 2014 FIFA World Cup? I think this is one of the best. I don't know. I might say 2010 was the best, personally. The theme song was Shakira. Actually, did Shakira do both theme songs? 2014, 2010, I don't remember. But Waka Waka's the best. I think 2010 was a good World Cup overall. 2014 was also good. I think 2010 was better. That car outside, I think he agrees with me. I think he's saying 2010 was better, and I agree. Alright, which country won the 2014 FIFA World Cup? It's not that long ago, so you probably can still remember. No hints. Answers are locked. The answer is Germany. 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 Do you know what the score was? The score was 1-0. They beat Argentina in extra time. Mario Götze. I haven't even heard about him in a long time. What is he doing? Is he retired? Surely not. He was pretty young back then. He scored the winning goal in the 113th minute. Pretty cool. Question number 2. We all know the legend Mohamed Salah, the Egyptian hero. Does he have a nickname? I don't know. But what team does he play for? What club? He's Egyptian, he plays for Egypt, but what club does he play for? Here's a hint, which is also a cool fact. He joined the team in 2017, so almost 10 years ago. That is the only hint. Actually, no. And he won the Premier League. Oh, wait, that gives a hint. Answers are locked. I was going to tell you the year that he won it. But then I'm like, I'll just say that he won it. And then I realized that's too descriptive. I thought it was which Premier League club did he play for. So then I could say he won the Premier League in 2019. That doesn't really help unless you know who won every single year. But yeah, anyway, this is an easy category, that's fine. The answer is Liverpool. Liverpool FC. So they won the Premier League in 2019-2020, that season. And then the Champions League in 2018-2019. And he's still there. So hopefully, maybe he can win some more. Who knows? Question number 3. Now again, before we get into the next question, if you have any corrections for the answers, please let me know. In a previous video, I mentioned only one player scored a hat-trick in a World Cup final. That is incorrect. There's 2, Geoff Hurst and Kylian Mbappe, so thank you for that. Person who commented, letting me know. It allows me to learn, allows me to correct it, and allows all of us to get accurate information. Alright, question number 3. Which country has won the most UEFA European Championship titles? So Euro Cup. So for National League, like not Nations League, but not National League, national team tournament. We're not talking about the Champions League being called the European Which country has won the UEFA Euro Cup the most times? Okay, well, here's the thing. I'm going to have to double check this answer because it says this team won it this many times, but it's tied for the most in tournament history, which means there's another team that has won just as much. So let me just make sure, so that way we don't have another Mbappe situation. Okay, so I'm back, and apparently this quiz is, some of the answers are wrong, because this answer is completely wrong. There's actually one superior team. It doesn't even tie. Second place is tied. But there's one clear winner. So I don't know when this was updated, but it should be recently. Anyway, answers are locked. The country that's won the most UEFA Euro Cup titles is Spain, with 4. For some reason, this quiz is saying Germany, who's won it 3 times, and who is tied with a couple other teams, I think. Let me double check. Actually, it just says Germany won 3 times. Interesting. Oh, no, sorry. No, that's right. And then Italy and France won it twice, I believe. Let me see. Yeah. Okay. So it's kind of accurate. Alright. Question number 4. Which stadium is home to Bayern Munich? The German Giants. What is the name of their stadium? And this is a cool fact because I like things that FIFA, the video game, can help you learn. If you ever played Ultimate Team, you know you could change your stadium, and with that you can see different stadiums from different teams, different countries, and one of these stadiums that you could get is this stadium. So, you know what? I'll give you a hint. It opened in 2005 and is known for its illuminated exterior that changes color. Which stadium changes color? I didn't know that part, but I know the stadium. And if you don't know it, once I say the answer, you will probably be like, oh man, I can't believe I got that wrong. Answers are locked. The answer is Allianz Stadium. Allianz Arena. Allianz Arena. Allianz. I think it's Allianz Arena. Allianz Arena. Home to Bayern Munich. Alright, last question of the easy category. Which South American tournament is the equivalent of the UEFA Champions League? Now, we've had this similar question before. I've had to double check the answer in previous quizzes to find out what kind of tournament this is. And I realize it's similar to the Champions League, but for South America. And I've mentioned this before, so that's your hint. If you watch some of the previous ones, then you will know this. I also need to hopefully I make it by the time I upload this, but I want to make a playlist on my channel so you can watch all the football trivia videos. I don't know if I'm going to add in the secondary ones like the world record one or the guess the player. I think that'll be its own sort of playlist. Alright, this tournament was first played in 1960 and is the most prestigious club competition in South America. What is the name? Answers are locked. The answer is Copa Libertadores. Copa Libertadores. Liberado. What? Libertadores. I don't think my brain's working today. What's happening to me? Easy category is done. We are now moving on to the medium category, the next 5 questions. Here we go. Question number 6. Which nation won the 2021 Copa America? And if you don't know what that is, similarly to the Copa Libertadores, which is the South American club competition, the Copa America is the South American national team competition. So who won in 2021? The hint will be that this team ended a 28-year major trophy drought. They did not win a major trophy for 28 years before this victory. Which nation won the 2021 Copa America? Okay. I was just scrolling through the questions because the next question is a really easy one. So, you guys are getting some really easy ones today. Answers are locked. The team that won the 2021 Copa America and that defeated Brazil 1-0 at the Maracanã, which is the famous Brazilian stadium, is Argentina. Messi finally broke the drought and helped the team to win their first trophy in 28 years. Alright, question number 7 is going to be a quick one. Which country hosted the 2010 FIFA World Cup? We already talked about this. Did you not listen? Did you close your eyes and your ears? Who hosted the 2010 World Cup? Fun fact, Spain won. Does that help? I don't know. Okay. If you're still confused at that point, I'll give you a hint. It was the first World Cup held on African soil, which is really cool. And honestly, I still think it's one of the best ones. Whether it's because of the tournament itself or just how I felt and me being, how old was I? Oh God, 16. I was young. I was hip. I was cool. It was just a great time. Answers are locked. The country that hosted the 2010 FIFA World Cup was South Africa. And they had the vuvuzelas. Oh my gosh. I actually got myself a vuvuzela. I love them. They make loud sounds. Can't really do ASMR with them, but I love it. Okay, question number 8. Which club is nicknamed the Blues and plays at Stamford Bridge? I could have just left it at the Blues. I think that would be a difficult question if it was in the hard or very hard category. Because the Blues, I think France is Les Bleus. The blue in French. So that could trick you. But it's a medium category difficulty, so we're going to add plays at Stamford Bridge. Again, stadiums is always a benefit to know. Who plays at Stamford Bridge? And whose club is nicknamed the Blues? Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. I'll give you a hint. It's from the Premier League, so it is an English team. Is it Manchester United? Just like Ronaldo is wearing the uniform there. Is that team known as the Blues with the red jersey? Who knows? I don't know. Alright, Answers are locked. The club that is nicknamed the Blues and plays at Stamford Bridge is Chelsea FC. Chelsea FC. And fun fact, they won multiple Premier League titles and 2 Champions League trophies. One of them being over Barcelona, I believe, when they had Drogba and Fernando Torres. Again, great Champions League final. I really like that one. Okay, question number 9. Which country won UEFA Euro 2016? And bonus point if you could tell me who scored. Which country won UEFA Euro 2016? And who scored the winning goal? I will not give you a hint because this will give you a hint, but you shouldn't need a hint. Why, you may ask? Because you're watching an ASMR Dano video. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. You should know this answer. Alright, answers are locked. The country that won UEFA Euro 2016 is not even arguably, statistically true, factual. Everyone will agree, the greatest team of all time, Portugal. If you don't know, it's your first video watching me. I am Portuguese. I live in Canada though. And as a Portuguese person, our Lord and Savior is Ronaldo. So that was a great year for us. But unfortunately, Ronaldo didn't score the winning goal. It was Eder. I think that's how you pronounce it. Eder. Eder. Who scored the winner. Because Ronaldo was injured in that final. My heart went crazy. When that went in, oh my goodness. Probably the best moment of my life. Alright, question number 10. Last question of the medium category. How many substitutions are teams allowed during a standard professional match since the 2022 rule update? Now, your hint is it used to be 3, and I don't know when. I think it's happened because of COVID era, but yeah, it was introduced permanently after COVID era adjustments. But I don't remember when it was announced or when it happened. I just remember watching a game and the team I was cheering for, the team they were facing, started doing substitutions and they did 3. And I'm like, it's kind of early. Why would they waste all their 3 already? And then they did another substitution. I'm like, ref, what's happening? Stop that. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to say how many they did. But it's not 3. That's your hint. And another hint, it's more than 3. Alright, answers are locked. The answer is, or the question and the answer, the substitutions that teams are allowed to make during a standard professional match since 2022 is a total of 5. It used to be 3, now it's 5. There's 3 substitution windows, excluding halftime. So there's technically 4 opportunities to use 5 substitutions, which honestly is not bad. Soccer's one of the most, I think, demanding stamina sports out there. And what you're saying previously was only 3 of the players deserve to rest when everyone's been running the whole time. So increasing it to 5 is not bad. Maybe if increase it to 6, hey, why not give it 12? refresh the whole team. That'll be very interesting. Give some young players a chance to play. Imagine you have to play every player you have. That'll be really funny. That'll be a cool rule. Alright, halfway through the quiz, we're going to the hard category. Hope you're doing well. There are some easy ones coming up, but also some difficult ones. Let's go. Question number 11. Which club did Jude Bellingham join in 2023? The young English star. Which club did Jude Bellingham join in 2023? And a cool detail, he quickly became a central figure, scoring crucial goals in his debut season. Which team did he go join? Also, comment down below if you were a football player who's honking. This question is not for you. If you were a football player and teams were coming to sign you, all the teams in the world, who would you choose? Would you sign for your favorite team? Maybe your childhood team, where you live? Or would you go for one of the big teams out there? Or would you go for the most money? Go to a place like Saudi Arabia? Let me know. Answers are locked. The club that Jude Bellingham joined in 2023 was Real Madrid. Real Madrid. And honestly, the fact that he went to a team like that just made it even more stacked. Pretty crazy. Alright, question number 12. We're going back in history now. Which country won the first ever UEFA European Championship in 1960? Were you born then? Probably not. Do you know who won? Like for the FIFA World Cup, one of the cool facts is that, Uruguay was the first one to win the first World Cup. But I don't think anyone really mentions the first ever European Championship. At least I never heard. Who won? And I want to give you a hint because I don't think it's going to really help you. This team defeated Yugoslavia 2-1 in the final. Yugoslavia is no longer a team because technically the country no longer exists. So who won the first ever UEFA European Championship in 1960? Answers in 3, 2, 1. The team that won was the Soviet Union, which also doesn't exist anymore. Soviet Union. And they defeated Yugoslavia 2-1 in the final. Nice. Alright, we're going back to 2010. A great year. We all know Spain won that tournament, and the tournament was in South Africa. Which manager led Spain to their 2010 World Cup victory? One of the best, if not the best, coach to manager to coach. What am I saying? The best manager to coach the Spanish team ever. I believe so. And a hint is he was the coach during Spain's golden era, where they won Euro 2008, World Cup 2010, and then Euro 2012. Even without winning the 2014 World Cup, I still think they can be regarded as one of the best national teams of all time. I think so. I know it's not the best, like if you're looking at Brazil back in the day, actually multiple Brazil teams. You could argue Argentina won, with Messi. You could argue Portugal, because they're the best. But yeah, I think that Spain team was incredible. They played a style that not many people could replicate, and they did it well, which is cool. Alright, the manager that led Spain to their 2010 World Cup victory, I believe there's a meme of him going, ooh, Vicente. That was Vincent. It's Vicente. Vicente. Del Bosque. I know him as Del Bosque. Vicente Del Bosque. The greatest Spanish team or manager of all time. Alright, question number 14. Which African country has won the most Africa Cup of Nations titles? The AFCON, which is basically the African version of the Euro Cup, if I'm correct. Which African team has won AFCON 7 times? Now, oh yeah, so the most, did I just say yeah, I said the number, right? Yeah, so you can't guess that. I was going to say, guess how many times they won. You can't guess that anymore. They won 7 times, including 3 consecutive titles from 2006 to 2010. And from what I'm aware, how do I say this without spoiling it? I would suspect most of them to be won more recently than back then. So that kind of surprises me. I really can't explain it without giving the answer, so I'm just going to lock it in. Okay, you have 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. The team that won the most African Cup of Nations titles is Egypt. And so I'm surprised because 3 consecutive titles were won, 2006 and 2010. And Mohamed Salah, I don't think was playing at that time. Maybe he played near the end when he was very, very young, like around 2010. I'm not sure. But that means Egypt has a good team all along, which is very interesting. Also, I used to know an Egyptian person who I went to school with, and him and his brother were both great at soccer. So I feel like that nation is just full of footballers. Question number 15, last question of the hard category. Which club won the Continental Treble in the 2022-2023 season? And I'm gonna just be more specific because theoretically you can say what kind of continental treble, which nation, and things like that. I'm going to be more specific. This team won the Premier League, the FA Cup, and the Champions League. This was 2022 to 2023. And I probably should have said that because it's a lot easier to guess now. But that's okay. It's a tough question without that information. Because theoretically, it could be anybody. You could argue that some team in Africa did it, or South America did it. So we're just going to, make it a little easier. It's in Europe, because we're talking about the Champions League as well. Which club won the Continental Treble in 2022-2023 season? They won the Premier League, the FA Cup, and the Champions League. The answer is Manchester City. Manchester City. Dun dun dun. Alright, we are in the very hard category. Hope you're having a good time so far because these are about to get much more difficult. Here we go. Question number 16. Which goalkeeper famously scored a last-minute header for Liverpool in 2021? I remember it like it was yesterday. I believe they were down in stoppage time, or they were tied and they needed the win, something like that. So he came up to the box on like a corner or something. I really don't remember, I guess. I think it was a corner. And he ended up heading the goal for Liverpool. It was scored against West Bromwich Albion. And he was the first goalkeeper in Liverpool's history to score. Now, if you remember a previous video of Rogério Ceni from Brazil, who scored 140 goals, compared to a team like Liverpool who has no goalie ever score until this moment. It's a big contrast. Alright, answers are locked. Actually, for a little bit of a bonus, speaking of Brazil. Alright, answers are locked. The goalkeeper that famously scored a last-minute header for Liverpool in 2021 is Alisson Becker. Alisson Becker. Actually, before I make a fool of myself, it is Brazilian. Okay, just to make sure. My mind hasn't been here today. I don't want to get that wrong. Alright, question number 17. Which club won the inaugural Premier League season in 1992 to 1993? I think this is before they changed the name to the Premier League, because they've had an English league before this. But for the first season as the Premier League, who won it in 1992 to 1993? And as a hint, it ended their 26-year wait for a top-flight league title. So they haven't won in the top flight, in the top leagues, for 26 years. We talked about the 28-year drought for Argentina. Which team ended their 26-year drought? And in all honesty, I'll give you another clue. This team went on to win more. This was just the beginning. Which team could it be? Answers are locked. The club that won the inaugural Premier League season in 1992-1993 is none other than Manchester United, who ended their 26-year drought. Look at that. Alright, let's go back in time, but a little closer than the inaugural Premier League season. Which player scored the winning goal in the Euro 2000 final? This is a tough one because I'm not going to give you a hint. I'm not going to tell you who won the Euro 2000 final. I'm not going to give you any hint. Okay, no. For full points, you can guess. For half points, I'll tell you who won. I think that's fair. And I'll give you all the information I have here. And then you have to tell me what was the player's name. Okay, here's your hint. The team that won was France. They won their second European Championship. And they scored the goal against Italy. But the question is, who scored the goal? Answers are locked. The answer is the player that scored the winning goal in the Euro 2000 final is a Juventus legend. At least I know at least that he played for Juventus. David Trezeguet. David Trezeguet. Trezeguet. David Trezeguet. Great striker. Alright, question number 19. Which country finished third at the 2018 World Cup? A lot of the times we know who won. We even know who came second. But no one remembers who came third. Hopefully you do. I will give you a hint. Shout out to all the people from England watching this. But this team defeated your team 2-0 in the third place playoff. And another hint. This was their best finish at a World Cup ever. So third place was their best finish ever. This could be Portugal. I'm not saying it was. I'm just saying it could, because in 1964, 4 or 8, 2008, something like that. We were third place, I believe, with Eusebio. But who was third in 2018? Answers are locked. The team that finished third at the 2018 FIFA World Cup is Belgium. And like, they're a great team, they have great players. I'm surprised they didn't win more, to be honest. Alright, last question of the day. If you're on a perfect score so far, one more question to do it. Here we go. I love giving respect and shout-outs to one of the most forgotten positions, other than defender, goalkeepers. Who is the only goalkeeper to win the Ballon d'Or, which is the trophy for the best player? This, if you know football, is an easy question, I think. Or maybe I just love goalkeepers. I used to play goalkeeper in school. I loved it. So I always have a soft spot for goalkeepers. But who won the Ballon d'Or? The sad part is, and it probably won't change, they won this award in 1963. So 63 years later, still no goalkeeper winning that award. I don't know if they ever will. I don't know if that will ever break. I mean, Manuel Neuer played well, but he had Ronaldo and Messi in front of him. He couldn't win. I wonder what it would take for a goalkeeper to win. Another hint is that this goalkeeper's nickname is the Black Spider. I never heard that before. That's pretty cool. Answers are locked. The only goalkeeper to win the Ballon d'Or is the legendary Lev Yashin. The great player. You know what? Actually, let me double check something. If we go back in the questions, where was it? If I scroll. Yeah, I mean, the Soviet Union won their first ever UEFA European Championship in 1960. Well, Lev Yashin was on that team, right? Soviet football goalkeeper, yeah. So he's part of the reason why they won their first ever one, I believe. Yeah, so he played in the World Cups 1958 to 1966. So he would have been the team for the Euros, unless he got injured, but I don't think so. Damn, it says he's had 270 clean sheets and saved around 150 penalties. My goodness. He played for a 22-year career. And was known as the Black Spider because of his all-black attire, reflexes, and vocal leadership. Shout out to Lev Yashin. Shout out to you, who completed another quiz. But don't worry, you know how we do. Bonus question time. Here we go. One more bonus point up for grabs. Here's the question. Which player scored the most goals in a single Euro Cup tournament? Actually, 1 point and then 2 points for how many goals they scored. And you know what? 3 points if you could also guess how many matches it took them to score that many goals. So 3 opportunities for 1 point. I'm feeling generous today. The quiz, I think, overall was okay. Some easy questions, some difficult, but a lot of bonus points here. So here we go. Which player scored the most goals in a single UEFA Euro Cup tournament? And then how many goals they scored, and how long it took them to score that many goals. Answers are going to lock in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Answers are locked. Here we go. The player with the most Michel Platini, who scored 9 goals in Euro 1984. And he did it in 5 games, which is like 1.8 goals per game, which is crazy. Shout out to Michel Platini. And again, shout out to you, who has finished another quiz. How'd you guys do? Let me know how many you got right, as well as any corrections for some of these questions. I think all of these were accurate, but who knows? Make sure to leave suggestions for future videos, and make sure to have a great day, great rest, great sleep, whatever you're going to do. Hope you enjoy it. Take care of yourself, love one another, and most importantly, have a good sleep.